Hey, it's Ethan Skolnick for the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm here with our guy, David Eversole. Thanks for joining us today. The reason that we're doing this is because we started a partnership with PrizePicks roughly 4 or 5 months ago. We've gotten a ton of people to sign up, but we also have a lot of people who don't really understand how it works. And I feel, Dave, like they're a little, intimidated by it because it's daily fantasy. Some people haven't played daily fantasy before, but their whole thing here is daily fantasy simplified. That's the reason that we joined up with them. That's the reason that you can use the code 5 and you can get that bonus. So make sure that you use that. More on that later. But David, you started playing, and then we'll kind of go through this. You can see what it looks like on the desktop. We're also going to show you some from the mobile because I know a lot of people play it on mobile. I've been playing it every night now. A lot of people in our network. But David, just take me through kind of your experience a little bit, and then we can get into the platform.
Well, the thing about PrizePicks I like, it's not you against a bunch of other players and having to set a complicated lineup. Basically, it's you versus the board, whether it's the total fantasy score points, the projecting going over or under, or now they have a great new format, the single stat, where you can say, I'm going to take Jimmy Butler to go over 22.5 points or under, vice versa. Either way, it works, obviously. And the thing I like about it is just like it's you versus the stats. You're not worried about trying to fit 6 guys under a salary cap or anything like that. You look at the matchups, you look at how the players are trending, and you make informed decisions based on a real simple yes or no formula. It's not like you have to try to figure out what players are going to fit under any kind of cap. And what I like about it is you can mix different sports like baseball, hockey, basketball. I mean, if you have a lot of sports going on simultaneously like we do now, it's great. If you're comfortable with the NBA, you can go all NBA. If you want to throw in some NHL, it's just very flexible. It's a lot of fun.
That's the big word, I think, is flexibility. Like you talk about it. You can play. I think people don't understand. Like you can literally take Jazz Chisholm. If you're a Marlins fan, you can take Jazz Chisholm and Jimmy Butler and pair them together in the same PrizePicks. And you can throw, if you want to get a little bit riskier, you could try to play 3 players, 4 players, 5 players. And occasionally they have special bonuses that come with playing certain players. Typically, I'll play 2. But what I'll do based on how I'm feeling that night is decide how much money I want to put in, which is obviously part of this. I want to throw in $20. Do I want to be a little riskier? Do I want to do $10? But at the same time, a lot of times what I do is decide between the power plays and the flex plays. So what you're looking at there is the desktop screen. Now, Manny Chang, our producer, is going to put up some other screenshots just to kind of show you what the boards look like on mobile. So this is on mobile, and you can see as we go through this is the NBA board for tonight. So this is already up. So we're doing this thing in the morning. This is already up for tonight. It may adjust a little as the day goes on, but these are the fantasy scores. Now, fantasy scores, they have the rules for, what goes into those and all that, but also you can play the single stat categories like David said. So one of the things you can do is you don't really feel like sort of computing points, rebounds, assists, and blocks and steals. If you just think Bam's going to go over 1.5 blocks, like Bam Adebayo of the Heat, you can do that. And I've just honestly been riding the hot hand. Like I wrote Jimmy Butler for 2 weeks on points. I mean, the number kept creeping up and he kept exceeding it. I've been playing Bam Adebayo on fantasy points. James Harden, until he pulled a hamstring last night or had some quad tightness, I think it was. I've been playing him. So you can find a favorite player. You can mix it up. They don't have every player on the board, but they have most of the key guys. And again, you can pick one in the NBA and then go against somebody they're playing against or go for another sport. You can see the NHL boards, the MLB boards, but also the single stat categories, which I didn't post the screenshots, but you can do that. Now, here are some of my past entries. You can see some of these are winners. I did post a couple of winners here. There's some losers on there too. It just kind of depends on the night. But I think, David, the flex play and the power play is something to explain to people. On the flex play, here's an example. Let's say you put $20 down. Okay, if you're playing flex play, essentially you're hedging your bet. So let's say you're playing 2 players with flex play. If you win, the 20 becomes 40. But if you get one of the 2 right, you'll get $10 back. So you get half of your money back. It lets you play another day. If you want to be a little riskier, though, you can go all in, play the power play. It's a little bit like playing kind of what's the betting term I'm thinking of here? I just played it last night, and now it's when you play 2 together, or horse racing or anything like that. You play the parlay. I'm sorry.
The parlay,
It's like playing a parlay. So essentially, you're playing like, let's say that you think both Jimmy and James Harden are going to go over in points. You put $20. If you do the power play, you're sure of it. You win, you're going to get 60 back.
Mhm.
But if you lose, you get nothing back. So kind of depends on how you feel. You can, again, ride the hot hand. You play multiple combinations in one day. Give me your best PrizePicks success story so far.
Well, honestly, I've done really well with the power play of the 2 picks. Like, if you take 2 guys that you feel really good about, I play a power play with those. Like Butler and Bam have been really good. Alex Ovechkin in hockey.
Mm.
You go with the stars. The stars, especially in the NHL, and the scoring system in NHL, you get half a point for a block shot. You get 3 points for a goal. You get half a point for a shot on goal. I look for high volume guys in the single stat.
Okay.
Guys are going to put up one specific number. Some of the other players are a little bit streaky. I've had a lot of success on the 5 pick flex, basically, because the more you play, the more you risk, the better your odds. Like a 5-pick flex is going to give you 10 times payout. So if you hit all those 5 picks, your projections are right, you're going to get 10 times your bet. You bet 10, you win 100. And then if you get 4 out of 5, it goes down to 5 times. So your payouts are much better with the more players you add. So, I mean, I've had 5-pick flexes that have hit all 5.
Right.
But like, you're hedging your bets. If I feel really good about 2 or 3 guys, I'm going to go with a power play. Just because on the flex plays, when you get into more of those 4 or 5 guys, there's a lot more risk. And if one guy has an all high, it kind of throws off your whole board. So pick your 2 strongest guys and play them on a power play and go with players you know. I don't like reaching on guys that fringe guys because you don't know what a Jamal Murray, he might run hot and cold. Whereas like a Jimmy Butler who's going to give you points, rebounds, assists, he's a good fantasy score overall guy because he might go under 22, 23 points, but he might have 20 points with 11 boards, 8 assists. So his fantasy score might be high, but he might go under on a single stat. So I look at kind of the body of work, and for guys that contribute across the stat sheet of multiple things, I like to go with the fantasy score. But certain guys like James Harden, I'll usually ride the points or assists on those guys.
Yeah, keep it simple. I think that's the best way to go. Play the guys you know. Like I said, I got caught last night because Harden went out after 4 minutes, and I was debating whether to play Kyrie or Harden. Turns out I should have played Kyrie, and one of the reasons I played Harden was I said, well, there's a better chance of Kyrie leaving the game early. Turned out to be Harden who left the game early. So you're going to get some bad luck. You get some bad beats, but you play another day. I've done pretty well on it. I stick to NBA primarily because that's what I cover. Occasionally, I'll mix in another sport. But if you like one of these so-called fringe sports, tennis, people were playing during the Miami Open. They have some categories there that you can play. Highlight. I mean, believe it or not, they have everything. NCAA tournament, too. If you played some of those Baylor guys, you did pretty well. So a lot of stuff you can do. But here's the key point. You want more money to play with. So I know people are catching on to PrizePicks, but make sure you use our code. They've given us a special code. You will get a bonus with that. The code is 5. It's FIVE. We post our picks every night. David and I do. Others in the network do. We got a lot of people in the network playing. We've signed up more than 100 people here over the past 3 months. So clearly people like it. Again, use the code FIVE. You got to spell it out. So get your PrizePicks in tonight. We'll do more of these videos going forward, kind of on individual days, kind of saying we really like this or we really don't like this. We're going to mix some of this in on other 5 Reasons Sports YouTube content and also on 5 on the Floor, perhaps when NFL season comes back on 3 yards per carry as well. David, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Code 5.